Hello everyone, Stevo here with Stevo's Gaming Dungeon, here to provide some tips and tricks for building maps quickly on TaleSpire. So the first thing you're going to want to do once you have TaleSpire installed and you launch it, you're going to be able to create a campaign. You can see I have a list of them here. Once that's done, you're going to be able to go into it and start your game up. Okay, so let's see. I think I'll do this one. No, I'll do this one. Okay. Alright, so this little plus symbol at the top right, that's going to allow you to create a new board. The first thing you're going to want to do is press F2. Make sure that you press F2. That's going to take you to the center of the map. Alright. Let's go ahead and put my outline over on the other screen here. Okay, now that we have F2 done, the next important thing you're going to want to do is use modules. So one of the first modules I always make is the ground. Okay, so let's go to cavern is good. Always rotate when you're putting down blocks to give them a little bit of variety. Otherwise you get the cookie cutter Minecraft look, and that's bad. Alright, now the next tip is clipping. You need to clip items into your other items. So for example, if I go into the little hammer icon here at the bottom left, click on nature, scroll over so I can find it. There it is, the dirt. Okay. Control or Shift will bring up the grid option for you. And then just kind of rotate as you're placing them and clipping them in. So what I'm trying to do here is to cover up the cracks so that you can't see the grid very easily. You want to see it a little bit, but not too much. Okay. Like so. That's pretty good. Now I could add more detail. I could add like, grass and stuff. I could use like this. Maybe add some like leaves and stuff like that. But I'm going to keep this simple and to the point for this tutorial. Okay. So now that we have this module, press F2. One good thing to keep in mind is you press F2, but always scroll straight down. If you look at the compass down here at the bottom left, when you press F2, you want to be facing north. So go down south and then save all your modules down here. That way you can use them later. So you just use the select tool in the top middle here. The developers have made a very good job of making it pretty intuitive, Control C, Control V, that kind of stuff. I have a tutorial video if you need it to, run you through the basic controls, but really all you need to do is just go up to, where is it? Tutorials right here. At the top left, there's this little icon here, tutorials. And this will walk you through everything you need to know. Anyways, Control V. Let's start building. This is what I call the blueprint or the floor. Okay. So we're going to make a very simple map here. Notice how I'm kind of stacking a little bit. See how I'm kind of overlapping a little? That helps get rid of the lines, like I was saying earlier. Okay, and then we're gonna come over here. All right, there we go. We have like a basic outline. So now let's make another module so we can create some walls. Okay, I mostly use nature. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I'd say for the most part I use it quite a bit. So let's do the desert rocks here. So let's just kind of do these side by side like this. And then we'll use these rocks. Remember, hold shift or control to kind of clip them into each other. And then we can add a little bit of detail here down at the bottom. Alright, like so. And it's good to build on the mat. I call this basic floor at the bottom. I call it the mat. Okay, and then let's do some of these down here. Just to add a little variety. You want to make it look kind of natural. If you spend a lot of time with the modules in the first place, you will end up having to deal with, if you add all the detail first, you don't have to add as much detail later, is what I'm trying to say. Another thing that's important to keep in mind is adding light. Now you don't want to add too much light because it takes up resources, which is hard on your computer. And if you add too many, it will become, hard on your CPU, hard on your RAM. So my recommendation would be to just keep it simple. Just do like, I'm just going to do 2 here. Okay. All right, now I can copy paste this whole thing. Control C, F2 to get back, and then these are going to be our walls, basically. Okay. Middle mouse button, just click the middle mouse button to rotate. Shift so that you can slide and clip easily. Rotate with the middle mouse button. Okay, now you're going to notice there's these like little gaps here. So what I do is I create towers to deal with that. Okay, so let's go back to nature here. Let's go to these black rocks. These are cool. And we're going to kind of stack them like this. And then kind of combine them together. If you hold control, you can move them up without wiggling too much so that they look straight. Okay, let's try to add some variety here. Okay, getting somewhere. Let's do these green rocks at the bottom as a nice base. Okay, a little bit out on these. All right, yeah, it's decent. If you're in a hurry, you got a game tonight and you need to make it quick, don't worry about it. Just kind of, all right, then rotate them as you're putting them down. Add a little variety to your map. Anywhere there's a gap, or you know, you could just slap them down to make the outside of your map. Okay, let's do some on the inside too. I call the inside kind of area, I call it the island. There's always an island. All right, now let's add some variety. Let's do another module. Let's see something different. Let's do the white rock this time. And let's make them a little more spaced out. Okay, and then one in the middle here. Now let's add some of these like blue crystals. Rotate them and kind of slap them on all over the place. All right, perfect. Let's add some of these small ones to the bottom just to give it a little variety. Okay. What else? Maybe some of this black coal here just to kind of help cover up the bottoms a little bit. All right. Copy paste that. F2. All right, now these are gonna basically fill up the rest here. Okay. Now hold control and then go up. Let's make like a mountain. Then up one more. Oh, we got a little spot here we need to cover. No big deal. There we go. Now we have this like cool kind of mountain here. Let's do some on the outside too. Just add a little flavor. All right. We're almost done. Let's do like let's make like kind of like a nature module with like trees and maybe some like a bush underneath it, and then maybe some of these. Okay, let's sprinkle these around a little bit. F2 to get back. So let's go up just a little so that the plants show right. Then we just kind of sprinkle these around for decoration pretty much. Put them at the beginning here. And the corners. Always make sure your corners are covered. There you go. All right, and we've made a pretty solid little map. So now to test it, just gonna throw down a figure here. Oops. Throw down a figure, like so. There we go. And you just test it so that they can move around easily. I use the directional pad for this, just to make sure that they can walk around, you know. They're not getting snagged on too much. It's a little tight in some areas, but they should be able to get through. So this map you could use to play a one-shot. You could probably complete it in 2 hours, maybe 3 or 4 if you take your time. Not bad. All right, what else? So right now my assets are pretty good. I used a little more than I should have with these blue crystals. Now anything with lighting is going to take up a decent amount of assets. You can probably hear my computer in the background just a little bit. Press space to open up your menus, and then you can change your atmosphere settings. One thing I like to do is drop the fog crank the exposure up and then make it dark. Okay, this is how I like to display my maps. I think it looks like really cool, but it's still well lit. But you could easily say like this is nighttime, you know. This is the way I like to do it. But yeah, and then some people will like build a roof, you know, like this is a cave, so some people might build like a cave roof, but I really don't find them necessary, because if you do build a roof, you know, like let's say my roof was up to about here, what you're going to have to do is use the slider. So, you know, because if your camera is like in on the roof like this, you're going to have to use the slider to cut through it anyway. See how I'm cutting through here? And that's a pain in the butt for you and the players. So I usually don't do them. I don't like roofs very much. Sometimes I do, like with my castles, I might build a roof, but I might not. It all depends. That's also extra assets, so remember to watch your assets, because the more assets you have, the more RAM and the more CPU it's going to use. So you and your players have to keep that in mind, because you know, maybe you have an older computer and it might not be able to run one of these really huge maps. So the more assets you can save, the better. And roofs is a great way to save on assets. Just don't worry about them. Another thing I should mention is the tab option. So in TaleSpire, as I mentioned, you can use the tutorial anytime to learn how to use these. But, you know, like for example, I can use the tab options to place a marker block here. And then I can right click on it. Why is this? There we go. Right click on it, convert to bookmark, and I can say like something simple. This is the entrance, right? And you can do that for all sorts of stuff. If you set any traps, you know, you might want to mark your traps. Because only you can see this. The players can't see that. So when you're DMing and you're running a game, you know, that's going to be useful, because you're going to remind yourself, okay, maybe this is where the entrance is. There might be a trap up here. Maybe over here there's a secret, you know, that the players can find, so on and so forth. Okay. And then when you're done, make sure you go to boards here. Click on the little publish copy icon up here in the top left. There's this little publish copy. And you can publish a copy of your current board, and then you can use that to share on Tales Tavern. Let me show that to you here. Tales Tavern is where I like to share my maps. And it's as simple as just post, you know, once you create an account, it's free, by the way. And you just post the link and share. Maybe you might take a couple screenshots. You can post images and post a description, and voila, there you go. And then the best part is other people can go to that link on Tales Tavern and use your map. So I could share this map that I just made, and voila, you can just use it. It's super easy. And that's pretty much it. That's a very quick example of how to build a map super fast in TaleSpire that looks really good. I think this looks pretty tight. I would play on this. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Just hit me up on my server. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.